Paltrocast. How is your day going aside from, doing interviews? Because not every artist likes doing interviews.
Well, I don't mind interviews, honestly. Sharing things about what I do, I feel it's kind of a privilege actually that we get to talk about it. So my day, my day is pretty good. Other than that, I'm getting ready for tour.
Hmm.
Tour kickoff is in 2 days. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting time.
Yeah, touring with two big bands, Orgy and Cold. How did
Yeah.
this one happen? Did you know any of the members of either band? Because you are part of a super group that we know
Yes.
about. You do a lot of volunteer work. So it's not like you're just this person who's going, please let me open up shows.
No, actually, I was offered this tour and, by the booking agent. And so it was such a, gift from the universe. It happened last year after I basically wrapped up my live performances. And I
Hmm.
remember feeling kind of funky and kind of like distorted without knowing what the future, the next year in terms of live music brings. And then boom, this happened. So yeah.
And you have a new EP that just came out this month called I Am the Fire.
Yes.
When did you actually finish I Am the Fire?
When did I finish?
Yeah.
So I finished not too long ago. It's funny because this EP I wanted to release as I was working on singles in collaboration with co-producer Walter Flakus of Stubbing Westward.
Hmm.
And it kind of hit me, I need to release something now. This is the time to show my fans and my audience and my people and my family where I am mentally and physically, and where I am artistically as Toyah, as me right now.
Hmm.
So this EP kind of, happened. So I released Panic Room first, which happened last year in October. And I guess in the beginning of this year, after releasing, what is it called? The remix for Panic Room, I kind
Hmm.
of figured, wow, I have all these singles and the remixes. I should do something right now. And so here we go. So here is I Am the Fire. I received the CDs probably a bit over a month ago from the manufacturer. So, it wasn't like planned out very much in advance. Usually when I do releases, I do plan out in advance. So that was kind of like a new thing. And I guess it worked.
Well, the album, or sorry, the EP came out a couple of days ago in early April, and your tour kicks off on April 11th. Is it a
Yes.
coincidence that those two things happen at the same time, or did you time the EP towards the tour?
That's exactly the fact. So, big part of why I wanted to draw BP was when I found out that I'm going on the tour,
Hmm.
I figured, well, my full album is not really ready yet to be released. And I don't want to release it. I want to take my time releasing singles because I don't like to just drop the music into oblivion. I feel like today is the time when we should drop singles to have audience like kind of learn about us. And so I'm like, I definitely don't want to drop the album, but I have this material for EP. This way I can bring this EP on tour and perform some of the new material while meeting new people and introducing new, hopefully fans to what I do.
So you are performing a couple of songs from this new EP live.
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. Do you know which ones, or is that a secret and we just have to go to the shows and find out?
Actually, it's not a secret. I can actually say I'm performing everything of the new EP, but so there are two remixes, right?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna perform Panic Room original. I'm gonna perform Fire. I Am the Fire, which will be my opener, actually. And I will also perform Dream Not to Dream, but I'm going to use a lot of sounds from the remix that Chris Hall of Stubbing Westward did. I just
Hmm.
feel like this version is very punchy and dark, and I want to bring fire to this tour. So I think like the very punchy, impactful set, hopefully. I'm also going to perform a couple older songs, and I will throw in one song that is not released, that is nowhere available yet. So that's going to be introduction to the next thing that Toyah will be doing later this year. And I hope people dig that song. I think it's one of the strongest songs that I will have on upcoming record.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm going to play. So I'm very excited for people to hear it. I can't wait. I can't wait to play. My set will be guitar-based, more than my previous performances. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
So you mentioned Stabbing Westward twice already in two different people. How
Mhm.
did you first encounter Stabbing Westward?
So this was via Messenger, I think. So, well, no. First of all, before the pandemic hit, I was offered an opener slot for Stabbing Westward tour via their booking agent. And so, of course, I was all excited. And then it never happened because pandemic happened. So that was a bummer. And then I released my pandemic EP, which is Out of Order EP. And Walter Flacos remixed a Pray song for that EP. And we started talking. And I loved his remix because it was so powerful, so groovy. So like Pray song is kind of like, you know, up and down the original version. And he created this like banger. It's like going and going and going. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And we started talking about collaborating. And he was very interested in working with my voice. And of course, I would kill for working with someone such as him. He's very talented and amazing. And so that's how it started. And then we picked the conversation back up next year, and boom. And then I was ready to have this studio because I was working on finishing up my studio. And the moment I finished, I came down here and I spent the whole winter writing, composing songs, and producing demos. And then we met.
Wow. And as I mentioned before, you are part of a super group, the Joy Thieves, people who've worked with Bowie and just legendary artists. How did you wind up part of the Joy Thieves?
I'm friends with Dan Milligan. We are really super close. And so that was kind of like a natural thing. He's like, hey, I'm starting this thing. I think you should be part of it. I'm like, dude, seriously, it's awesome. So we did, to kind of like launch my introduction to the group, we did a cover of Shuxi and the Banshees, Cities in Dust. And that was just, yeah, went all like natural, you know?
Wow. So what I'm hearing right now is you're friends with other artists. And the reason I say that is because some of my favorite artists are known to be curmudgeons or not really talk to other people. They're in hiding. For example, we don't see Danzig going to the farmer's market, going to the shopping mall. We just think of Danzig as this alone guy in a house. And David Lee Roth from Van Halen, he's not really seen. He's just in his house all day. But not you. You were talking to other artists.
Oh, I love people. I love other artists. I am in full support of any collaborations, any creative endeavors of anybody around me. And the fact that, you know, people call me One Woman Army, that I do this project on my own ish, because you see, I introduce other people. So like Walter is now part of a production team. I have an amazing team behind my video team and my artwork. So there is a lot of people involved in my project, even though they are more on the back side of it. But other than that, I just love music. I love art. And all this community is such a beautiful gift, you know, to be part of it. So definitely, I talk to other artists.
Well, three quick questions and then I'll let you go. And the first one is, you're a very involved artist because there's an image on top of the music having to be a certain amount of quality on top of touring. What is your main hobby to decompress or relax when you're not busy with music and the visual content?
Well, there is a couple of things. My dog. My dog is the whole chapter of my life. I love my dog with passion. He is just my emotional relief. So just being able to hug my dog, wherever, however, whatever circumstances, whatever around, does a lot for me. It really soothes me. It helps me mentally. It helps me decompress. It's just something very amazing. This puppy of mine, who is now 11 and a half years old, is a greatest gift of my life, I swear. And other than this, I love traveling, but I like active traveling. So I love hiking. I love water sports. I cannot lay on the beach, but I love swimming and, doing river rafting, kind of like active sports. I love working out. So workout is like my little decompression time when I can do things for myself and kind of like get the energy. I always have so much energy. I have no idea how that happened, but I was born like this. And so sometimes to decompress is really hard because the more that happens, the more that I do, the more charged up it makes me. So then I'm like, well, I need to sleep too. So then work out. And then I love good book, cinema. That's the whole other chapter. I love cinematic art and also soundtrack. So that's the whole other spectrum. And of course, it connects back to music, which I guess at this point, the truth is that I cannot escape it. And even though maybe I should be taking breaks, music always finds me. So, even with the cinematic art, I look forward to one day, hopefully working on some score production. I started doing some score production with Ralph Klishevich a little while back. And I feel like it's a huge passion of mine that I haven't yet really grabbed because I don't have the time. But all these things, they make me very happy in my life.
And then my last question, because you actually were able to address a few things I was curious about in that wonderful answer. What was the heavy band or the band that got you into heavy music in the first place? Because everyone kind of starts out listening to the radio, they like the Beatles, but there has to be that one harder band that gets you into more industrial and or hardcore and or metal.
Oh man, there's so many. So that's hard because mentioning one without another is kind of like a blasphemy. So I'm almost scared to say, of course, Nine Inch Nails, because it's kind of like but I mean, I come from a metal world. So metal music has always been my passion. I've had a metal band before I started doing a solo project. So I feel like all these worlds, of metal music and industrial music, they kind of, connect. There is something that translates into each other, right? So gritty sounds of synths versus heavy and gritty sounds of the guitar. There is something that kind of makes it, I don't know, one world. And so definitely Nine Inch Nails, I mean, Skinny Puppy, of course, Frontline Assembly, all these legendary acts that, you hear everywhere. It's kind of hard to escape. But then, my community in Chicago, so smaller acts, got me into thinking that I can do a solo project and I can perhaps find myself in this new genre on my own without bandmates. So, it's just, logistics of it.
Paltrocast.